Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you guys are doing good. This is me, Abu Bakr Dilaver. I welcome you all to our latest episode of Founders Kahani. As you all know, in every episode of Founders Kahani, we invite amazing founders from all over the world so that you can get your inspiration, your start, your entrepreneurial idea. So today we have a very amazing guest with us from another country. He is doing really great stuff in the blockchain industry, in the crypto industry. So guys who want to work in the Web3 space, in the blockchain space, or who want to trade in the crypto, I think this is the best podcast for them. So please welcome Anton Golub. He is the founder of the Swiss Asset Dio. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for inviting me on your podcast. It's really a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to an exciting discussion. And thank you for having me.
That's really great. That's really great. So, what's the Anton's Kahani?
So, in terms of what's motivating, what's driving me, to be part of the crypto industry and build in the crypto industry, is actually one of the key values of the crypto ecosystem, and that's actually decentralization. So, how we can enable the everyday people to have access, to products, to services, and do that in a safe and secure way, and also mitigate the risks sometimes that come with having, big centralized entities. Yeah. So this is kind of what drives me on a very personal basis. And, I have to say I'm very humbled and honored to be part of the crypto industry for 10 years now and founded several companies. And this is what motivates me and drives me. And I couldn't be more excited to what's happening next in the crypto industry.
That's really nice. That's really nice. So, you were talking about that you established different companies in this industry. So, one of your company is Tech, and they did really amazing job. So, can you tell us some critical aspects that are used to liquefy the assets?
Yes. So Tech is a company. It's a crypto market maker. And the reason why I decided to launch a crypto market maker is before that, I actually ran a crypto exchange. So I co-founded Like, second ever crypto company in Switzerland. That was back in 2013. And there I was co-leading a crypto exchange. And something, a lot of people are aware of crypto exchanges when they purchase cryptocurrencies, but there's something very interesting that happens that you learn the first day when you run a crypto exchange is you learn the importance of liquidity, or you learn how difficult it is to scale an exchange and grow it if you don't have liquidity. And then kind of when I was seeing this problem, I realized actually a lot of other crypto exchanges have the same problem as well. And likewise, when you issue a token as well, you need liquidity for your token if you want it to grow and scale and so on. And then when you think about it, okay, what is a company that solves the problem of liquidity? It's a market maker, because a market maker creates a market for a crypto exchange or a token. And it was an amazing experience. I was leading the company as a CEO for almost 5 years. Market making on all of your top tier exchanges, I'm sure all of our listeners and you know of, but also market making for a lot of projects, some really big, huge, famous projects that we're doing, hundreds of millions of volume every day, but also a lot of early stage, smaller ones. And I can definitely say is that, liquidity is a critical piece of the crypto ecosystem. If you don't have liquidity, you cannot grow, be that an exchange or be that a token. And that's absolutely a key aspect of it. And I was a pleasure that I was a part of it for so many years, and that I contributed as well to the growth of the crypto ecosystem.
Yeah, and Trust Square AG is also plays a significant role in the blockchain industry. So, can you tell us about its mission and its vision?
Yeah, so to explain Trust Square in a single sentence, it's a crypto co-working hub. Oh. Or I would like to say it if people know about WeWork, so it's like WeWork, but for crypto companies. And the motivation why to create a hub for crypto companies was actually quite an old one. So in 2014, a person called Daniel Gasteiger, who is a very well-known person in the crypto industry in Switzerland, he had an idea, how do we connect all these crypto companies together? Because it's all about connecting people, building relationships, and then kind of building together. And back in 2014, I can say it was definitely too early, so it kind of didn't happen then. But then in end of 2017, Daniel called me and he said, "Hey, Anton, remember this idea that we had in 2014 with TrustSquare? I think now is the right time. We have a bigger ecosystem, so let's launch TrustSquare." And together with 6 co-founders, we launched TrustSquare in early 2018. It was a huge success story. So literally, like from the first day, we had full building in the center of Zurich, which is the biggest city in Switzerland, one of the most expensive cities on the planet, if not the most expensive. We had a huge building and many, many companies inside, and a lot of more than 300 people building their companies and their startups. And today also as well, TrustSquare is a key place in Switzerland if you are working on something crypto related. So if you ever come to Switzerland, to Zurich, and you want to meet cool crypto people, definitely come to TrustSquare and meet these amazing people and companies that are building together there.
Oh, nice, nice, man. I must say you are doing really amazing stuff. And when I was preparing for this interview, I was seeing that you founded a lot of companies. So, like, I must say you are such an inspiration to people like me who are very young at their ages and who are very early at their careers. So, one of your
Yes.
company is Lycorp. Also, you founded it, no? So,
Yes.
so can you tell us about who inspired you to found that company and how it revolutionized the trading of feeless assets?
Yes. So the story about how we founded Like actually goes a little bit before that. I was working at a big hedge fund in Switzerland as a trader. So really, like an amazing experience. At an early age, I was a trader at a hedge fund. This is a dream for a lot of people who are working in finance. And I remember I really liked it. So I was a high frequency trader. I wrote trading algorithms that then traded in the world's biggest markets, all fully automated computer. It was an amazing experience. But my boss then at the hedge fund, he kept on telling me, "Oh, Anton, there is something new coming. There is this thing called the blockchain. We have cryptocurrencies on the blockchain, but you can, have other tokens on the blockchain. It's going to revolutionize the world." And one day in 2013, he called me and he said, "Anton, I'm shutting down the hedge fund. We're stopping that. This is not the future. This is the past, and the future is the blockchain. And let's do a startup in the blockchain industry." And I said, "Yes, why not? Let's do it." I was young, like you are. And I said, "Let's do it. I think it will be an amazing experience." And in 2013, I co-founded with Richard, that was then my partner, the second ever crypto company in Switzerland, with a vision to build a exchange where people could trade cryptocurrencies and tokens. And it was a very important company in the early days. So I was co-leading it with Richard for almost 5 years until 2018. And it was a very important company because we onboarded a lot of people to buy their first cryptocurrencies, their first tokens. And it was an amazing experience. We grew the company from 2 people, me and Richard, to more than 200 people, offices over the world. So it was a big success story. It was an amazing experience. And I was very lucky to be a part of it.
That's really nice. That's really nice. Now, at this point of the interview, I have a personal question from you. How can you manage all this stuff?
So make a very good question. And so just to say that starting companies and building companies is an amazing experience.
Yes.
Really amazing experience, and yeah, I'm sure you can say as well, it's really great feeling when you have an idea, you're building it, and then a lot of work, and then it slowly starts growing. It's an amazing experience. But then I tell everybody the truth, very honestly, it's extremely difficult. So
Yeah,
it's really,
it's so
yeah,
extremely difficult.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
so
also a
difficult.
startup founder, and I can say that like it's 100 times difficult than a job.
Yes. So you make a great comparison. So for everybody who is listening, if you have a job and you think, "Oh, my job is so difficult," take 100 times more difficult, and that's your startup actually, So really want to say it's very difficult, but that's why it's so great experience. It's very difficult. You learn a lot. You do a lot of things. You face challenges. You face problems, really difficult problems. Very, very difficult problems. But then if you kind of overcome those problems and then you kind of succeed, you start grow, and it's on the right track. This is what's very rewarding, and it's really like having your own baby. and seeing your baby grow. This is how I can
Yeah,
describe it.
and the reward is really good, na? And you feel personal satisfaction in growing your own startup. That's the thing that you will get after a lot of struggle. And if a job person like he get his off at 6 p.m. and then he's free after the 6 p.m. and he has also holidays on the weekend. But for the startup founder, actual work starts when the office closes, and the actual work
Yes.
starts on the weekend.
Yes, I agree absolutely. And I can also say, like, when I found the company is always on my mind.
Yeah.
Always, you know. So you gave perfect explanation. People who have a job at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., they are out and they are in the different world. They don't think about, I don't know what they think about, but they don't think about work. But when you have your startup, you think about it all the time. It's like the
Yes.
same way you would think about your child or your baby. So you care a lot about it. That's how you feel about your own startup. It's always in your mind. It's maybe something's a bit too much on your mind, but it's always in your mind.
Yes, yes, and starting founding all of these companies have ever like what's the thing that motivates you to do that? Huh? Because sometimes you feel burned out that what I am doing, I should leave the startup world, I should do a job, and how do you manage all that stuff?
Yeah. So first, usually people ask me, Anton, why do you build so many companies? Why don't you just stop? You know, why don't you just say? And I think this is something that a lot of entrepreneurs and startup founders, yeah, you and me have, is like when we see a problem, when we see a challenge, we don't just complain about it. We say, hey, but this is an opportunity. And why don't we solve this problem and make world a better place? And I think this is how founders think. They always, when they see a problem, they always are thinking, but this is an opportunity if we solve it and we will help people. So I think this is what motivates me to kind of keep on going. But to say what keeps me going when I'm running a company, when I'm building a startup, is because sometimes it can be very difficult. You can have really big challenges, you know. And but what keeps me going is like today I'm a lot more experienced, so I know the challenges. When it's very difficult, I say, we will solve the problem. Now we're a bit stressed, but we will solve the problem. We will find a way and we will move forward. So you don't see it like the end of the world, or you don't see it like, okay, we cannot solve the problem. You can always solve a problem, no matter how difficult it is. And I tell myself today, I say, Anton, you have seen this. It's a challenge, it's a problem, you will solve it, don't worry, it will come, so it's fine. So that's how I do deal with it today.
Yeah, and can you give us a perfect tip for the time management?
Sorry, can you repeat? Sorry.
Can you please give us the perfect tip for the time management? How do you manage your time? Because in the
ah
startup, it's a lot of hassle, and at the same time, you also have to give time to the family as well. You also have to give time to the health as well. So how do you
yes.
manage all that stuff?
Yeah, so first I will give an advice for how to work when you work, and then I will try to give an advice how you need to recover from that work. So when you are building the startup in the early days, there's so many things you need to do. Just if you create a list, you would say, oh, this will never be done. So it's very important for you as a founder to prioritize and focus only on the things that are of a top priority in the short term, in the midterm for the company, and only do things where you give the most value. So let me give you an example. If you say the top priority for us in the next 3 to 6 months, it's fundraising, and I'm good at fundraising, just do that. Don't do anything else. Just do that. Focus just only on that. And I know it's challenging because you have a lot of other things to do, but you only need to do things that are top priority and where you give the most value. To give the other example, maybe a top priority is something related to compliance or to HR policies, but you're not good at that. Don't do it. Find somebody else in the team who can do it and tell them this is your task. So you need to delegate as a founder, you need to delegate as well. Focus only on the things that are top priority and that you're good at, do that. Everything else you need to delegate. And I know it's difficult to do that because you have so many things to do, but you need to do it if you want the best for your company. So this is how you
Especially
need to
this
work.
is the difficult thing to do for the Gen Z, because the most
Yes.
important difficult thing for Gen Z is to focus on something.
Put focus, exactly. Yes. Yeah, you really need to focus is such a key, especially at the beginning, your first couple of years, you need to focus and just do things that you're the best at. If you're not good at it, just don't do it, give it to someone else. Now, in terms of rest, because we just spoke how much things you need to do, how many things you need to do. You have to understand that what you're building is something for the long term. So it's like running a marathon. It's not like a sprint. So it's so important to be in good health, to do sports so that you're physically powerful, to meditate so you calm down, and most important, to sleep. You have to. So these four things you have to, and the last one is the most important. You have to sleep because you really rest when you sleep. And when sometimes I hear from people, sometimes they're founders or they're not founders, they tell me, oh, I work so much, I sleep 3 hours per night. And when I hear that with my experience, I'm just thinking, this person is crazy and he doesn't know what he's doing or she is doing. You have to get rest. So don't take it as something positive if you sleep very little. You have to sleep 8-9 hours. And then when you are out of sleep, focus, and just do things you need to focus on. But sleep, good diet, be healthy, and exercise a lot. It's key.
Yeah, exactly. And I can totally relate to the not sleeping thing because a month back I was working on my startup and I was also working as Techstars community leader, and I am organizing one of their community event here in Pakistan, which is the startup weekend. And at that I was so busy, like I even didn't got time for days to sleep. So I was that much busy, and that makes me like a lot of crazy.
Yes, exactly. And also, I mean, we know it from medical research is when you sleep less, you are less efficient, less focused, can't make the right decisions. It's just everything is, and it's not just only the problem for you. It's the problem for the whole startup because the whole startup is depending on you. And if you're not in top shape, how can the whole everybody around you be in top shape? So you need to take care of yourself. And trust me, as somebody who's been in the startup industry for 10 years, you need to take care of yourself. Top priority for you.
Yeah, exactly. So speaking of your diverse experiences, you know do not just have the experience of building the companies. You have also very diverse academic experience as well, and done few researches as well. So how does that academic career helps you to shape your career in the industry?
Yeah, so I want to say that an academic research and academic work and academic career is very different from professional work. Because when you're in academia, as a researcher or a student or somehow involved, actually your top goal is to produce high quality research and then publish it.
Yes.
So imagine it's not about building a business on top of research when you're in academia. It's not about, a lot of other things. It's about how can you create top research and then publish it in top journals. Now, I think there's a lot of value in being a researcher because you learn how to systematically solve problems. So for instance, if in research, you're trying to discover something new. So you want to be creative, do something new, and systematically solve problems, actually, right? So that's a very useful skill set if you're building a young startup. Let's say it's a tech startup, and then you have a very complex tech problem, and then you can actually draw from, maybe you even know the solution many times because you saw it in the research in your academia, or if you need to find a completely new solution, you can kind of think the right way how to solve problems. But it's very important when you use your academic skills in, let's say, professional environment, your goal is not to publish a paper. Your goal is to solve a problem that will result in a better product or a better client acquisition or something that efficiency, which will earn more revenues for the company. So even though you use the same principles, the goal is completely different. In academia, publish a paper, and that will give you promotions, then you become a professor or whatever you want to do. But in the business world, in the startup world, your goal is to, in the end, to satisfy the client's needs and make money.
Yeah.
So you need to be aware of that.
Exactly. So most of the listeners of this podcast are very young at their career. So there is a whole buzz around the world that you shouldn't go to the university, you shouldn't get a degree. So what's your take on that? Is degree really important for your career or for anything that you want to do? Maybe if you want to be an entrepreneur, is degree really beneficial for you?
Yeah, I think you said now a perfect explanation. What is the use of the degree?
Yeah.
So, for instance, let's say that you say, I want to become a top-notch top developer, and then one day I want to be a CTO at a startup. Going to university to learn all about coding, it's a very valuable skills. So I cannot say that, but you have to pay for the university in many cases.
Yeah.
Or you can, at a very early age, go to a startup, to another company and say, teach me how to program, how to code. I want to deal with real world problems, not the ones they give me in academia. And there people will even pay you to do it. So they will pay you to learn and solve problems, and so on. Now, what I'm saying obviously is that maybe you don't need to have a university degree today. University degrees before were very useful because university was the only place to get knowledge. Today you can go on YouTube and get knowledge. You don't need to go to university, right? So what I'm saying is that times are changing. Times are not, I don't think today is a time where you don't need academia or university degree at all. And also, like to give you an example, most of the startup founders or successful business peoples, they have a degree, not only just a bachelor degree, they have many times a master's degree. And many of them even have a PhD. And many of them even have a lot of work experience before they were successful. So my point here is it's a progress or a process. It takes for many years. There's still a lot of use for getting a degree. Be careful when you do that you don't get a lot of debt. If you have somebody to pay for it, if you get a scholarship or somebody pays for it, that's a different story. But it's many years of your life where you spend it in an environment that's not business. So if you want to do business, then go do business. But if you want to do studying, then go studying, but be careful how you spend money doing that.
Yeah, exactly. But as I'm also doing my software engineering from my university right now, so I must say, if from the university you will get the experience of handling different things, like handling
Yes.
different scenarios. Like in the hostel, maybe you have some guy who you really don't dislike, and you have to stay with him because you are in the same university. You have to sometimes do the project with him. So university tells you how to deal with these situations.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I agree with you. And university gives you very broad knowledge.
Yeah,
So you know a
exactly.
lot, you learn a lot, but it's like you're learning things, but you're not really using them in practice. That's the danger of the universities. And if you spend 10 years in the university and you don't work in the real world, you don't know what are the problems in the real world. And that's a challenge.
Yeah, exactly. So I was searching through your LinkedIn, and I have seen that you were being the part of the project, Foresight project, the future of computer trading in financial. So can you tell us about a little bit your experience there and how it helped you in shaping your career?
Yeah. So the project that you mentioned, the future of computer trading in financial markets, was one of the biggest projects ever created by the UK government. And what they wanted to do there is they wanted to bring top experts from industry, for academia, from research, from regulation, from law. They want to bring them together where they would discuss what are the changes in the financial markets. And the financial changes back then in financial markets were really big because the investing and trading in financial markets was moving from human, trading and investment to computerized trading and investment. Where an algorithm, a computer does it fully automated. And what the US government realized actually there were big consequences to that because all of a sudden we have computers that invest and that trade and they can do that very efficiently. But there are risks actually because of that, because computers, when things go crazy, they just keep on doing what they were told to do. They don't do anything differently. And because of that, you can have market crashes or you can have problems in the markets because it's just computers trading extremely fast. And they just do the same thing all the time. And I was invited there to participate. And my goal there was actually to analyze the financial markets and then give a recommendation to the UK government how they should adjust or change laws for financial markets such that we reduce risks that come from automated and computerized trading. It was an amazing experience. I think that I was the youngest person there. I was 24, 25 there. So people didn't really know when they hired me, they didn't know how young I was. So when they would see me in the office, they would say, they would listen to me, I would talk, I would say what I'm working on, how I think, and they would look at me, they would say, wow, you're very smart, and they would say, you are so young, and I was very young. But it was an amazing experience, and it was kind of my path later on to go into the trading industry and then become a trader at the hedge fund. So it was kind of one part of my career and transition, and it was an amazing experience.
That's nice. That's nice. That age compliment, I always get that also.
Yes, exactly, which is good compliment.
Yeah, it's a good compliment. So, Anton, we have seen that you are also involved in EU-based projects a lot. So, can you tell us about some of the projects that do you think really significant in the field of technology, in the field of blockchain?
Yeah. So first to explain to the audience is why there are projects in the EU, research projects, and how this works is that the European Union is very motivated actually to support a lot research and studying that would actually support and grow the economy in Europe. And they put a lot of effort into that, and they have many programs where billions and billions are invested, such that young, smart people, but also old, smart people, that they go and they solve important challenges that the European Union thinks is very relevant for the economy. And in that context, for instance, I was mostly involved in something called Marie Curie programs, which are programs that fund, research and development. I was more on the finance side. So I was involved in a project that was doing research in finance. So that was right after the financial crisis in 2008. So they were investing a lot, kind of how you manage risks, how do we prevent from another big depression and recession happening like the one in 2008. But also I was involved in a project that was kind of very much dealing with complex systems. So how do you model nature? How do you model society? How do you model financial markets? And how can we find the key drivers that are impacting and influencing complex systems? So again, it was an amazing experience. You would be part of a project, a group of people coming from all over Europe, but many times from all over the world, because you could be from all over the world. It was not necessarily just people from Europe, but most of them for Europe. And I made great friendships and worked with a lot of that I was a part of this European Union programs.
Okay, and so if anyone from Pakistan or India wants to join that project, what's the process of that?
So European Union has a lot of these different research programs. So it's very important that you find the right one for yourself. So first you need to find that, which is, so if you do biology, there's no point, even you want to do research in biology, there's no point to apply for a project in finance. So first need to find the right field actually there, and it's just like searching for it online. You can easily find what's the right research project. And then what I would recommend to people is that to find people who are already involved in such projects, and then tell them, please, I would like to work on these projects. It's very interesting. It seems you're already working on one. Do you have space for another person to join? And then if they have, they will tell you, yes, I have a space. I'm looking for a young, smart student. Please tell me more about yourself and apply. Or if they don't have it, but they will many times know who has space or which project is coming that has space for talented people to join. So this is how I'd recommend it to people.
Okay, perfect. So there is a human nature, like if you are doing something that you will be satisfied it, and at a certain point you will start progressing it, and you have established, you have founded a lot of new ventures, but still you write 13 academic papers and 2 books. So what motivated you to do these kind of scholarly pursuits as then your ventures?
Yeah. So I mean, my educational background is actually I'm a mathematician. And what you learn when you study mathematics for many years is all about solving problems. All the time you're, how do I solve a mathematical problem? How do I solve it? And it's like a very pure way of doing research. And it's always really much inspired me. How can I use mathematics in finance, in technology, to solve actually very challenging problems? And I have to say the reason why I was doing it for so many years is because I was surrounded by very smart people. So it was always not, I was not the only person, who was a part of our research initiative, but I was always part of a group of people. And then I have to say, I think I'm very good at solving mathematical problems. This is just, I'm very good at that, actually doing that. And I always very much enjoyed it, but I also started kind of, as I was doing more and more founding startups, I had less and less time to do research, and research really takes a lot of time, really a lot of time, because you have to be calm, you have to be focused, and you have to, the way research happens, you try many different ways to solve a problem, and then somehow you find the right way through intuition, through experience, through talking to people, to finding the right ideas, you solve a mathematical problem. But for that, you need a lot of time, and you need a lot of patience and focus. And it's very different from building a startup, because in building a startup, you're always doing something, you're always like in the motion. And so I would have to explain it. The research is more about like meditation, where you have to calm down, you have to think, you have to try a lot of different things. And startup is like being on a roller coaster where a lot of things are in motion.
Yes, yes. Man, you are doing really, really great stuff. Just take me as your student.
Yes. Happy. Awesome. Happy. Yeah. Happy to do
Yeah.
that.
And also, like, what do you think are the latest trends in the field of blockchain or in the high frequency trading?
Yeah. So in the blockchain space, there are a couple of narratives, a couple of spaces of the crypto industry that are very attractive now. There's a lot of hype around them. One is real world assets. So that means how can a crypto native company invest into a real world investment opportunity, for instance, like real estate? How can you, as a native crypto company, invest into real estate and get return from that? That's an mechanism. So this is real world assets. The second narrative, where there's a lot of hype around, is DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations. So that means how can you run entity, a crypto entity, on chain, on the blockchain, and do it in a decentralized manner through smart contracts. So that's a big narrative. And then the narrative that I'm very interested about is decentralized social networks. So today we're so aware, we know how big of a power social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, how big of a power they have and how much money they're making on us. So that means they can literally block my account, ban me, and I have lost all of my contacts. I have lost all of my contact. I have lost everything, actually. And the second thing is when they let me use my account, they sell my data to everybody. Whoever wants to pay for my data, they sell it to them and they make a lot of money. And these centralized social networks kind of try to solve that problem, is how to give the ownership of the data, of all the connections, of the network, or of the content to the user. So you have it in your wallet, you have all of this in your wallet. And the second thing is if a application on a decentralized social network is monetizing me and my data, that I get a cut of that data. So this is a little bit very exciting narrative. It's still in the early days, and kind of like a very well-known examples are now FriendsTech and the Lens protocol, for instance.
So, how do you think that AI can play its role in the blockchain industry?
So I think that AI will be more of an enabler in the short term for crypto startups, because today AI, you can think of it as a very, very clever assistant to you at the moment. So no more, today you don't need to actually say, write a big letter that, I want to share some updates about the community. And then you have to think for hours and you write a letter update for your community. You can maybe say to an AI, to ChatGPT, these are the bullet points. These are the key goals we have achieved this quarter. Please write a letter, for my community. Please copy my style of writing. Please, update also the community, what has happened in the industry, and to press an button, and AI creates that, actually. Very simple. So AI is more of an enabler at the moment. I think like where blockchain and AI can merge together is actually in verifying the truth and verifying the identities. Because if it's so easy to create everything with AI, then we don't know what is true and what is not true, or what is authentic and what is not authentic, you know. And blockchain and AI will, not in the short term, but in the mid-term, as kind of AI grows, I think there will be a very nice match between each other. In a sense, how can we use the blockchain for verification? Or that we verify something is humanly done or something is actually AI done, driven.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Anton, for coming to the podcast. And I'm really happy that we have done this because I had a great time talking to you, and you are doing really great stuff. So at the last, I'm also part of the Gen Z. So Gen Z always finds some fun question in every serious aspect. So I have a very fun question for you right now. Like, if you got a chance to invite three people on your dinner table, alive or dead, who will that be?
From alive, I would definitely invite Elon Musk. I think he's just a super cool person. So I really, like him, enjoy him. I think he's a great person. I have never met him in person, but I would invite Elon Musk. Then also I would actually invite a very good friend of mine, Eugene, that he was working with me for many years together in many of my startups. So I would invite him just because we have a great time together. So this is kind of, and from a person that has passed away, I think a person who inspires me a lot actually is Nikola Tesla. So Nikola Tesla was one of the most revolutionary inventors, and he invented a lot of the things that we use today. We're not even aware that Nikola Tesla, and he was it seems to me, he was also very like a bit weird guy, so very, focused on his research, on his inventions. So I would invite him. So Elon Musk, Nikola Tesla, and my friend Eugene, and I'm sure, the four of us will have a great time at a dinner, and have an awesome time together.
Yeah. Why the Elon Musk is a compulsory thing in every question? Like, I asked this question with a lot of entrepreneurs from different backgrounds, from different regions, but the Elon Musk is the compulsory thing.
Yeah, I think he's a big inspiration for people because he has had so much success, but also so much challenges. I mean, when you hear him talk, how difficult it was to build his companies, and let's say it very honestly, his companies were revolutionary. They really reshaped, human society. So not only a country or a city, human society, they're reshaping it. And I think one thing that I really admire Elon Musk is because many times I look at the sky during the night and I see the moon, and when I was young, the moon looked very far. I thought like, wow, the moon is very far. We're never going to get there, very difficult. But today when we have Elon Musk and, the amazing work he's doing with SpaceX, somehow today when I look at the moon, I say, it's not so far. Very soon Elon Musk, or his team will, or somebody, somebody in this world will create something and we can easily go to the moon. So this is how I would describe why Elon Musk, because for me, it seems that the moon is a lot closer because we have Elon Musk.
Yeah, exactly. And on the last, if you want to give any advice to the aspiring entrepreneurs of Pakistan region.
So first, to all the entrepreneurs and startup founders in Pakistan, I really want to congratulate you on building your startup, realizing your idea, and bringing your team together and growing. You're doing an amazing thing I think today entrepreneurs are so important for each country or city or society or group because they're creating jobs, they're creating products, in the end they're the ones who are going to make sustainable businesses. So I really want to tell them, do it. It's an amazing experience. If you succeed, congratulations. If you fail, congratulations as well, because it's an important step, in building something. So take it very positive and build, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you so much, Anton, for coming to the Founders Kahani today. We have a great discussion. I must say, like I had a great time. Like, it's one of the most good podcast that I have ever done. And you, mashallah, are doing really great stuff in the term of blockchain. And now I see myself like you are ideal for me. Like you do a lot of stuff. Still, you write books, you write academic article. I'm also trying to write an article, but didn't get an inspiration yet. So like you're doing really great stuff. And thank you so much, guys, for listening to Founders Kahani. And if you have any suggestions, you can WhatsApp us as always. And please show us some love on the YouTube as well. And thank you so much, guys. See you next time. Allah.
Bye bye.